Hello again. As we delve deeper into the Quran, the holy book of Islam, in this exploration of the Quran, a text that holds immense significance in the world of religion, we will be examining passages that is directed strictly to the people of the book. The people of the book is a term used in the Quran to refer to the Hebrew Israelites and Christians who are seen as recipients of earlier divine revelations. The house of Israel refers to the descendants of Jacob, who are also the recipients of God's messages, previous prophets. In this exploration, it's also key to note that within all religious groups, there exist numerous denominations, each interpreting the sacred texts in their unique way. This makes it crucial for individuals to engage with these religious texts personally, to avoid the risk of accepting potentially false interpretations others. In this journey, we will delve into verses directed specifically to the people of the book, exploring their meanings and relevance. We invite you to join us on this journey as we seek to understand the timeless wisdom of the Quran and its relevance to our contemporary world, encouraging you to form your own understanding of this sacred scripture. The Quran, in several instances, addresses the people of the book. But who are these people and what is the message for them? The Quranic context, the term people of the book, typically refers to Hebrew Israelites and Christians. This term represents a recognition of their shared Abrahamic roots with Islam and acknowledges their receipt of divine scriptures, namely the Torah and the Bible, respectively. The Quran, as the final revelation in the Abrahamic tradition, often speaks directly to these communities, addressing theological points of contention, ethical teachings, and historical narratives. Let's delve into this a little deeper. We will start by considering the verse from the Surah Al-Baqarah. O people of the scripture, why do you confuse the truth with falsehood and conceal the truth while you know it? This verse challenges the people of the book to introspect, to question whether their interpretations and practices align with the foundational truths their scriptures espouse. Following that, let's examine the verse from the Surah Al-Imran. Say, O people of the scripture, come to a word that is equitable between us and you, that we will not worship except God, and not associate anything with him, and not take one another as lords instead of God. This verse invites the people of the book to find common ground in monotheism, the cornerstone of all Abrahamic faiths. Another verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah reads, And we sent, following in their footsteps, Jesus the son of Mary, confirming that which came before him in the Torah, and we gave him the gospel. This verse affirms the prophethood of Jesus Christ, a belief shared by Christians and Muslims, albeit with differing interpretations. Now let's turn to Surah Al-Ma'idah. Verse 5:12. And certainly did God make a covenant with the children of Israel. We sent among them 12 leaders. And God said, I am with you. If you establish prayer and give alms and believe in my messengers and support them and loan God a goodly loan, I will surely remove from you your misdeeds and admit you to gardens beneath which rivers flow. But whoever of you disbelieves after that has certainly strayed from the soundness of the way. Next, we have verse 240 from Surah Al-Baqarah. O children of Israel, remember my favor, which I have bestowed upon you, and fulfill my covenant upon you, that I will fulfill your covenant from me, and be afraid of only me. In essence, these verses and others directed towards the people of the book are not just about theological debates or historical narratives. They are an invitation to dialogue, to understanding, and to mutual respect. They underscore the shared roots and values of these faith traditions, while also acknowledging their differences. These verses thus serve as a bridge of understanding and dialogue between Islam and other Abrahamic faiths. Now let's delve deeper into the Quran's messages for Christians. The Quran, while acknowledging the significance of Jesus Christ, also emphasizes certain theological points. For example, in Surah Al-Imran, verse 64, it states, Say, O people of the scripture, come to a word that is equitable between us and you, that we will not worship except God, and not associate anything with him, and that none of us will take others as lords besides God. This verse clearly underlines the Islamic belief in monotheism and invites Christians to embrace it. The Quran also acknowledges the moral teachings of Christianity. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 82, it states, "You will find the nearest of them in affection to the believers, those who say, 'We are Christians.' That is because among them are priests and monks, and because they are not arrogant." This verse appreciates the moral teachings of Christianity and encourages mutual respect and understanding between Muslims and Christians. Another verse, Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 46, reads, "And we sent, following in their footsteps, Jesus the son of Mary, confirming that which came before him in the Torah, and we gave him the gospel." This verse affirms the prophethood of Jesus Christ, a belief shared by Christians and Muslims, albeit with differing interpretations. In conclusion, these verses further underline the Quran's engagement with Christianity, fostering dialogue and understanding. By addressing Christians directly in these verses, the Quran not only acknowledges the shared Abrahamic roots but also highlights the common moral and ethical teachings. Moving on, let's understand these verses and their implications. The Quran, as a text, is in active dialogue with many faiths, and the faith of the Hebrew Israelites is no exception. When we delve into the verses, we find an interesting pattern. Many of these verses highlight the shared roots between the faith of the Israelites and Islam. They underline the commonalities in teachings and the shared lineage of the prophets. For instance, we find repeated references to figures like Moses and Aaron to both faiths. One such verse is, "O children of Israel, remember my favor that I have bestowed upon you and that I preferred you over the worlds." This verse is a clear acknowledgement of the special status that the Israelites hold in the Islamic faith. It's a recognition of their early monotheism and the trials they faced. Another verse goes, "And we gave the children of Israel the scripture and command and prophethood, and provided them with good things and preferred them over the worlds." Here the Quran acknowledges the Israelites' role as recipients of divine scriptures and their unique place in the prophetic tradition. In verse 6:84, the Quran states, "And we granted him Isaac and Jacob and guided both rightly, and we had guided Noah rightly before them, and of his progeny, David and Solomon and Job and Joseph and Moses and Aaron. Thus do we reward those who do good." This verse solidifies the shared prophetic lineage between the two faiths. Verse 2:11 says, "When it is said to them, 'Do not cause corruption on the earth,' they say, 'We are but reformers.'" This verse serves as a reminder of the divine covenant and the responsibility it entails. The verses also contain reminders and warnings, emphasizing the importance of adhering to divine guidance and the consequences of straying from it. For example, "And we certainly took a covenant from the children of Israel, and we sent to them messengers." This verse serves as a reminder of the divine covenant and the responsibility it entails. However, these verses are not merely historical or theological observations. They are also calls for mutual understanding and respect. They seek to bridge gaps and foster dialogue, highlighting the shared heritage and mutual values of the two faiths. Through verses, the Quran seeks to engage with the community of the Israelites, underlining common roots and shared teachings. Having explored these verses, it's essential to comprehend their significance in fostering interfaith understanding. The Quran, in its unique eloquence and depth, addresses not just the followers of Islam, but also those of other faiths such as Christianity and Judaism. This inclusivity is not a mere gesture of courtesy. Rather, it embodies the core Islamic principle of unity in diversity, recognizing the profound truths embedded in different religious traditions. These verses, aimed at the people of the Book and the House of Israel, serve as bridges spanning the chasms that have often divided communities of faith. They highlight the shared beliefs, practices, and ethical codes that bind us all, irrespective of our religious affiliations. They underscore the mutual respect and understanding that should be the cornerstone of any interfaith dialogue. In a world where religious differences are often exploited to sow discord and strife, these verses offer a refreshing perspective. They remind us that the essence of all religions is the pursuit of truth, justice, and compassion. They encourage us to look beyond the superficial differences that set us apart and focus on the common spiritual and ethical values that unite us. The relevance of these verses in today's world cannot be overstated. In an era marked by religious conflicts, misunderstandings, and prejudices, they serve as a beacon of hope. They invite us to rise above our sectarian biases and embrace the spirit of unity and brotherhood that lies at the heart of all religious traditions. These verses, therefore, are not just an integral part of the Quranic narrative. They are a call to action, urging us to cultivate a sense of empathy and respect for all faiths. They challenge us to foster an environment of interfaith dialogue where we learn from each other, grow with each other, and work together for a better world. The Quran, through these verses, invites us to a dialogue of understanding and coexistence. As we conclude this exploration, let's reflect on the messages we've uncovered. We've journeyed through the Quran, focusing on those verses directed to the people of the book. It's a voyage that has taken us into the heart of a text that, for over 14 centuries, has been a guiding light for countless souls. The verses directed to the people of the book, we discovered a call for unity and mutual recognition. These verses remind us that the Quran doesn't stand in isolation, but rather it builds upon the spiritual and ethical teachings of earlier revealed texts. It recognizes the shared lineage of the Abrahamic faiths and invites us to look beyond our differences and to find common ground in our shared spiritual heritage. As we turned our attention to the verses directed to the house of Israel, we found an affirmation of the historical and spiritual connection between the Hebrew Israelites and the divine. These verses echo the trials, the tribulations, and the triumphs of a people chosen to bear the weight of divine revelation. They reiterate the Quran's role as a continuation of this sacred narrative. Throughout our exploration, we've seen that the Quran is not just a book of faith for Muslims, but a text that fosters interfaith dialogue and understanding. It's a text that reaches out, bridging gaps and creating bonds of mutual respect and recognition. These verses remind us that our beliefs may differ, but our shared humanity binds us together. They underscore the Quran's vision of a world where different faiths coexist peacefully, each contributing in its unique way to the tapestry of human spiritual experience. In the end, the Quran, through its verses, presents a vision of unity, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence among different faiths. It's a vision that, in today's world, is more relevant and necessary than ever before.